Thank you, Celia. Good morning.
Good morning, Juanda.
It's so nice to see familiar faces today. And can we give a shout out for the rain? And I'm sure somebody's going to be complaining about it too. So we're so happy to have had it. I'd like to thank you all for having me with you today. This is a big deal for me because I get a chance to talk to people and they have to listen. Oh, how awesome is that? But I'm here this morning to share some of my thoughts about the conscious outward expression of gratitude. But before we get started, Lon creates music. I have a little ditty that I want to tell you that I created from a TV pastor I heard. He said, there were 3 people that died one day and they got to the pearly gates at the same time. There's a teacher, a doctor, and a car salesman. So St. Peter was showing them around to their houses. He took the teacher to a tiny 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. And it looked like it was a field, it was a ½ acre of little tiny houses. So the teacher said, "Thank you so much." He got the doctor, took the doctor. It was a slightly bigger house. It was 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and not quite as many, but still a lot of tiny little houses dotted around. And he said, "Oh, I am humbly grateful to be shown to my new place." So he goes down the street, turns a corner. There's this 2-story mansion, circular driveway, ash trees that align in the driveway, a reflection pool in the backyard. It's like, wow, you gotta be kidding me. He said, "This is yours." He said, "Are you joking? St. Peter, you dropped the teacher off to a little 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. The teacher has helped people learn, helped people grow, contributed a lot to society. And the teacher was grateful, didn't complain about the little house. You took the doctor who saved many people, who's healed a lot of people, who's done much good for the world, a house that wasn't fit for him, and he was humbly grateful. And you're showing me this mansion?" St. Peter said, "Well, you know, you're the first car salesman we've had, so we're grateful to have you." You know, according to Cicero, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but it's the parent of all others. The American Language Dictionary explains that gratitude is a feeling. It's a feeling inside. It's a feeling of appreciation. And Merriam-Webster, you know, I'm going for the dictionary thing, says that gratitude is a state of being grateful and thankful. So gratitude is a feeling of showing thanks to somebody for something that they've helped you do, for being appreciative of benefits that you've gotten, for being pleased by reason of comfort supplied or discomfort alleviated. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. If you walked in the mall in those shoes that were too tight, you can understand discomfort being alleviated when you get out of those shoes, right? So gratitude comes from the Latin word gratus, which means more about grace. Let me tell you how gratitude came into my life on Wednesday night. We're talking about gratitude here. So it's about 8 o'clock in the morning and the doorbell is ringing and I'm like, okay, I'm not answering that. The doorbell doesn't stop ringing, so I have to get up. I go to the window. I don't go to the door. I go to the window. And I put on my gruffest voice. Yes! I look out the window. There's this PG&E guy. He's standing there. He's saying, "I want to get in the backyard. I got to get in the backyard. I've been calling you all week. Nobody answered the phone." Well, if nobody answered, why did you show up anyway? Okay, right now I got my 11s going, that's these little lines right here, and my 33s, that's these lines right here, right? And I'm talking to him out the window, and he's talking, I gotta get my truck set up. I'm like, well, I didn't ask you to come this early, you should have gotten confirmation. Right, we got this tit for tat going on, right? Out the window, he's at the door. He goes to do his little thing with his truck. I said, all right, okay, I'm still wrinkled, right? I wash my face a little bit, put on something that I can go to the door in. I open the door, he's gone. And you know, this has me in a tizzy now, because already he got me up, I'm busy, I'm running around, I'm worried, I'm not happy, okay? I'm not real happy at all. So I'm up, I go to brush my teeth, and I'm standing there saying, okay, God, you got me up early for a reason. Let me get rid of the 11s. I'm still brushing my teeth. Let me get rid of the 33s and be grateful that you got me up early. I must have a lot to do today, so let me get to it, and thank you for giving me a wake-up call, okay? When I did that, the knot left my stomach, the 11s left, the 33s went away, and I was off to a good day. And I didn't have to worry about being upset. I didn't have to worry about being disrupted, my day being disrupted, my routine being disrupted, because I was able to be grateful for the fact that even though this wasn't a pleasant event, it wasn't something that I needed to get my day started. But after my day got started, I was grateful. I woke up, I was able to breathe, I could see, I could walk out the door. What was there not to be grateful for? Even though I had the tit for tat with the PG&E man. And basically what I did was realize that gratitude is what gets me out of whatever disruption I might be in. And that was a plug for gratitude for me, from me, for Wednesday morning. So can you think of something that could have been a negative that you turned into a positive because it started out in the wrong way or started out in a way that you weren't anticipating? Did you get upset by the guy that cut you off in traffic when you were already going 10 miles an hour and he cut you off? Did you get upset about the guy who was standing at the intersection asking you for money and you're trying to pay attention to the traffic, trying to pay attention to the lights? You can't pay attention to them. You don't want them to think that you're a bad person, but then it kind of makes a knot in your stomach. It's like, why is she standing there? He's not the only thing that you're having to deal with. But then again, you can turn that into something that is not a negative and bless him for standing there, because you don't know what he has to deal with. You don't know what he has to go through. Or the guy who cut you off in traffic. You don't really know what that motivation is. You could turn that into something really positive and just bless him on his way and know that the highway patrol is probably going to stop him for speeding, okay? So did any disaster you might have suffered become a stepping stone to something better? Think about it that way. See, holding on to anything disrupts your flow of grace. It keeps the flow of grace from moving into you. Because if we go back to the definitions, you said that gratitude is a feeling. Feelings are inside, they come from your heart and from your head. So the mind has to be receptive and the heart has to be open in order for grace to come into your life. And the most efficient way to open your heart and to receive the grace of God is with what? Gratitude. A few weeks ago, I purchased a book from the library, book sale of fundraisers that they have all over town. And I purchased the book because of the title of the book. The book was the prayer that changes everything. I said, oh, I got to get a piece of this. I got to know what this prayer is. This lady is, her name is Stormy O'Martian. And she said that it's impossible to come into contact with all that God is without change taking place. What she says is that prayer changes absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. And it involves praising God for all things and thanking God for good times, as well as those difficult things that cause you not to be grateful. Okay? It says that even in turbulence, you can find a way to find something that you can be grateful for, or something that you can be thankful for. Remember, if your heart is closed off, if disruption enters your life, you can't benefit from the grace of God. Oh, there's a passage in the Bible. It's in 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, 58th verse. It says, pray and be grateful no matter what is happening. But Corinthians also tells us to focus on the eternal good that comes from God. It says praise and thanks changes your life and opens you up to the unlimited awareness, creative intelligence, helpful people, and great ideas that God sends that are more than enough for a happy life. We're created, believe this and remember this, we're created in the image and likeness of God. We're heirs to the kingdom, and we've been given all the resources we need: strength, wisdom, love, joy, peace, everything that we need, we've been given. We close it off, but we have it. All we have to do is open up to it. So what's there not to be grateful for? One way to imprint this feeling of gratitude on your body memory chip is to translate your thought into concrete language, oral or written, to make yourself more aware of what your ideas are and what your thoughts are. It's not about keeping a journal. It's not about making it cute. It's about translating your thoughts to imprint your brain with what it is you need to have for your life. Writing helps us to organize these thoughts and facilitates integrating it, putting it all together. The more we translate our thoughts into gratitude, the more love is released into our hearts, and the more the power of gratitude impacts our lives and is ingrained in us and throughout everything we do. Now, if some of you are familiar with Abraham, that's the wisdom that's channeled through Esther Hicks. She says that, or Abraham says that, you make a conscious effort to guide your thoughts day by day in the direction of what's good. You have to begin to feel better, but you have to take charge of controlling those thoughts. You can't let just random vibrations affect you. You have to begin to activate the vibration that comes from God, to see the good and be grateful for the good, because that moves you to being a vibrational match to the unlimited non-physical part of you. And that's what Abraham likes to call God, the unlimited non-physical part of you. And Abraham talks about vibrations all the time. And Abraham says that what we need to work at is becoming a vibrational match, because we are just bundles of vibration here. We're trying to become a vibrational match to that unlimited, what does she call it? Unlimited non-physical part of ourselves, which says that we're all one with God as it is. But what our job is here is to keep our vibration moving back to that oneness from whence we came. We have to be grateful in the process of creation. We have to be grateful for this relationship, because that's what helps us grow. We have to get our hands in the clay of molding our lives so that we enjoy this process of creation and enjoy this link that we have with God. Because our job really is, we've been put down here to grow into going back home. That's our basic job. So we need to be appreciative of this journey and align ourselves with God. The more we recognize and beat the drum of gratitude, which is that feeling which helps to raise our vibrational level, the more we beat the drum of gratitude, the more we activate the essence of it in our vibration. We're vibrating sources of energy. We're bundles of what does Deepak Chopra call it? Bundles of God. He calls us bundles of God. We're expressions of unlimited potentiality. We're children of first cause, and we are the channels through which God gets to express and to be. If we're not vibrating at that same level, or if we're not trying to reach that same vibrational match, we're not making it count while we're here. We're wasting our time. Do you regularly count your blessings? Have you thought about it lately? Remember, gratitude is thankfulness for gifts and benefits. We've been made in the image and likeness of God, and we don't know what life would be like without this gift. Have you ever imagined that if you weren't alive, what would you be? Would you be a fish? A tree? Maybe an embryo? But you have to consider, created in the image and likeness of, not a fish, not a tree, not an embryo, created and made in the image and likeness of God, the unlimited, non-physical part of life. Joel Goldsmith, the father of some of the wisdom teachings that we have, says we neglect opportunities to admit divine influence into our experience when we fail to make God the activity of the day and fail to establish our selfhood in the rhythm of spirit. See, the answer to keeping up with the rhythm of spirit and living through this unlimited energy is to live in obedience to the inner voice, which heralds beauty, joy, peace, love, all those things all those tools that we think we need, that we want. The peace that goes beyond right now. And as we live and breathe, making ourselves available for the glory of eternal, infinite life to flow through us and out from us, we practice the presence of God. The presence is that which heals, which supplies our needs, which multiplies our good and teaches us to be. This presence is the activity that performs and shows up when we dedicate ourselves to periods of what? Praise and meditation. Is that not what she said, the prayer that changes everything does for you? It changes your life. Prayer and silence, thanksgiving and acknowledging, silently giving thanks and mentally being grateful and doing and being so continually. This is the activity of gratitude. This is the activity of a grateful heart. So in Judaism, gratitude is an essential part of the act of worship, and it's a part of every aspect of the worshiper's life. The Hebrew scriptures are filled with ideas of gratitude. Psalms 30 intones, O Lord my God, I will give thanks to you forever. And the prayers that the Jewish people do 3 times a day says, we give thanks to you. How many times do you say thank you every day? If I thank you is the only prayer that you ever say, do you think that would be enough? Probably. Martin Luther referred to gratitude as the basic Christian attitude, and today it's still referred to as the heart of the gospel. The theologian Jonathan Edwards claims that the affection of gratitude is one of the most accurate ways of finding the presence of God. It goes back to rest. It goes back to a feeling that rests on what we talked about before, the heart and the head. It's in the heart, and it's between in the spaces in your head, the unlimited, non-physical part of you. In Orthodox, Catholic, and Anglican churches, the term Eucharist, a most sacred rite of worship, is derived from the Greek word Eucharistia, and that word means thanksgiving. Islamic teachings in the Quran emphasize the idea that those who are grateful will be rewarded with more. Now, in this world of bosons and pylons and cell phones, there's still a place for the practice of gratitude. Recent scientific work has suggested that people who are more grateful have higher levels of subjective well-being. Grateful people have more positive ways of coping with the difficulties that come with the experience of life in today's world. So there's always a path that can be found which allows us to acknowledge God. We can always find ways and reasons to acknowledge our source and feel that connection of life's gift to itself, even in turbulence. There's always some way to acknowledge our spiritual connectivity and draw on this source for our strength. If you remember, or if you have seen pictures of the graveyards in Europe, in Normandy, where U.S. soldiers went to fight, on most of those you will see a cross, you will see a United States flag on those graves, and on those flags will be the word mercy, which is thank you. And this is just saying thank you to the men of our country, the men and women of our country who fought for everybody else's freedom. So thank you is all over the place. We just need to open our hearts and open our minds to become aware of it. Okay. Begin to show forth your eternality. If there's something in your life that you don't think there's enough of, if you don't think there's enough love, why don't you see the bit of love that you do have in your life and be grateful for it? So if you don't think you have enough money, if you're counting your pennies, why aren't you grateful that you have enough pennies to count? Because somebody out there doesn't have pennies. So what you need to do is, if you feel there's not enough health in your life, this is one that I really like. I wrote this. If you feel there's not enough health in your life, leave the ballot. No, I don't mean that.
What?
If you feel there's not enough health in your life, go to see a medical professional, but look around and see what you can do for yourself and see what you can do for others, and then take care of yourself. But don't complain or don't be ungrateful for the health that you do have, because you do have resources. You wake up in the morning, you breathe, you can get out of a bed. What's not to be grateful for? We're all instruments through which spirit's life flows into consciousness. The real work goes on in the non-physical space in your head and in the feeling space in your heart. Gratitude is the heart's memory. So be grateful. It helps us all to realize what we have. Give thanks continually in order to strengthen relationships, improve health, reduce stress, and in general be happier. Gratitude puts life in perspective so that we can see the good as well as the bad, and in the seeing, know it's all good because it's all God. And I had on a little card here. Oh yeah, there's people in Berkeley doing all kinds of research. People in Berkeley do research on everything. And they've created an appreciation scale. Has 8 facets to it. Some people have more of these at some time than others, and some people have none of these all of the time, and some people have all of these most of the time. But the appreciation scale covers things like the appreciation of people, the appreciation of possessions, the appreciation of the present moment, not futuring, but the present moment. Appreciation of rituals, a feeling of awe, appreciation of social comparisons, appreciation of behavior, and appreciation of existential concerns. That's just being alive. You have many ways to appreciate life. You should think of one of them and practice it on a regular basis. And in your programs today, I think Rachel might have put little cards that I created that are gratitude cards. There's a series of 7 of them. And there should be at least one way on each of the cards for you to find a way to appreciate your life a little bit more than you have been. And always a little bit more is better than none at all. So thank you very much. And I'd like for you to go within right now. Find yourself a quiet place in your heart. Become still. And know that the activity of God is the energy that is all pervasive, that is everywhere present all the time, no gaps, no lapses, not waiting for us to be grateful, but giving us an opportunity to be a channel for its expression. I know there's one life, that life is God, that life is perfect, that life is in me, in you, in each of us, allowing us to be one of itself. I'm very grateful that God chooses to give us life and love and joy and peace and wisdom and rituals and this now moment for which we can be very grateful. As I release this into the law, I know it's done, complete, and it doesn't return void, but returns filled with more grace from God. In the doing and being, in the gratitude and meditation, I say thank you, God. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.